Hello everyone. Today we are here to interview MapleCreepyPasta.
Hi, everybody.
Is there anything you would like to say before we get started?
Um, no, just that, glad to be here. Thanks for putting me on your interview list. That was pretty cool.
Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you for being here. Okay, we will jump right into the questions then.
All right.
Do you have any plans for your channel?
Well, at the moment, I did a story that I was just like a childhood kind of thing that my parents used to tell me, or my mother used to tell me about my Uncle Stan. And a lot of people seem to really like it on my channel, so I think I'm gonna do more tales like that. I've got quite a few stories from being a kid of weird things that have happened and that kind of thing. So do a little bit more of that, maybe a little more writing, and the stuff I have written actually get around to posting and narrating it, because also my story that I wrote on there has a lot of good feedback on it as well. So it's kind of getting me out of my shell. But other than that, I might be going away to a summer camp, but I'm not sure about it for the duration of the summer. So it would be like 3 months or 2.5 months, I think, 10 weeks. So I'd actually have to schedule a bunch of stuff. So if that ends up happening, I'll have like 2 weeks before I go, and then I'll actually just have to work tirelessly and schedule all my videos. So that's about it for plans. Nothing insane anyway. I've been helping Nice Pasta with his full-length movie, which is super exciting because it looks really awesome. But yeah, that's about it.
How did you come up with your channel name?
Well, it's funny. I didn't really want like to be Mr. Canadian, but I wanted it to be like kind of Canadian. Like I knew ever since I kind of started the channel that I wanted to be a guy with a bandana because like I like doing. If you saw my bonus material footage, I do show my face, and I have no like problem showing my face or anything. But I like it like with a some sort of cover on it. So I thought a bandana would be cool, and I made one with a maple leaf on it because I am Canadian. So thought I'd do that. And my channel art's actually done by a friend of mine, Wayne Norris. I got around to getting it done only a few months ago, and I pretty much said to him, "Hey man, this is kind of what I want," and he came up with like the perfect artwork. So hopefully he'll get some more stuff for me, like trying to convince him to do when I'm doing stories to do backdrops and that kind of thing for them, to see what's up. And maybe I'll send you his art, DeviantArt link or whatever. You can throw it in this channel description or the video description.
I can do that.
Sweet. Yeah, that's about it.
Okay. You already touched on it a little bit, but how did your persona come to be?
Well, yeah, I just kind of knew I wanted a guy kind of looks like me but way tougher, and you know, because I'm not a very tough dude. Uh, yeah, and with the bandana and a cool machete because that would be my weapon of choice in a zombie apocalypse,
Nice.
and kind of a tunic style because I love Legend of Zelda and that kind of thing. But I didn't want to go with the green tunic, so went with a black one.
Okay. How has narrating changed you and your life?
Huh. Well, it's definitely given me a different perspective on what I want to do. Well, not really so much, but just kind of better on giving me a better idea on yeah, I guess what I want to do. Uh, Before when I first started, I guess I could. This is probably in another question, but when I first started narrating, it was about no, I guess a year ago when I first did. But when I first heard about creepypastas, like I always wanted to start doing it, but I didn't have the equipment. I had like just a tablet at the time and no actual desktop computer, so it took me a little while to get around to it, but I eventually built myself a computer. I learned how to build a computer and from a friend of mine and got one together and then started narrating, and yeah, the rest is history. But it hasn't really changed me too much. I mean, I'm still always doing the same thing. I just kind of am more of a shut-in now. I choose not to go to the bars and that kind of thing, which is kind of a good thing. Being young, and it saves me a lot of money in the long run, so it's pretty cool.
And the next question is, why did you start narrating?
Well, it was when well, it would have been 2 years ago, 2 and a bit years ago, when I first found Mr. Creepypasta on YouTube, and I couldn't believe that I'd never heard of, what a creepypasta was before that. And I would just listen tirelessly, like nonstop. And I would go to work. I used to work at a pizzeria at the time, and I would go to work and I'd like have my phone. I had to end up getting like 6 gigs of data on my phone so I could just constantly listen while I was working because I worked at a restaurant that I was in the kitchen all the time. So I was allowed to kind of use my headphones, and rather than music, I would just listen to story after story after story. And I think at this point, Junior had just broken, like when I found Creepypasta Junior, he had just broken like 900 or 1,000 subs, and there wasn't enough video. Like there's not as many narrators as there are today. There wasn't back then. So I would never have enough. Like I would listen to Mr. Creepypasta and Junior and Creeps McPasta's videos over and over and over again, and I was like, man, like there's a need for this. If I'm this crazy about these stories, then I'm sure other people are thinking the same thing as me. Uh, so it took me a little while. Like it wasn't until about a year later that I actually got around to it, and I was living on Palace Road at the time with a roommate, and he thought the whole thing was stupid. He's like, I don't know why people do that. It's stupid. And I don't know. It was he was a weird guy to live with, but that's another subject entirely. But I didn't listen to him, and I just started doing it, and I had fun, at the time when I first put out. Oh wait, no, I guess I wanted to start narrating too because nobody had done 1999 at the time, and it was one of my favorites. And I actually grew up in Caledon, Ontario, so that was like home for me, And to see a creepypasta on the internet that was from my hometown was absolutely incredible. So I decided that was one of the ones I wanted to narrate first, and I did that after I did a couple of crappy ones just to kind of see how I could deal and what the feedback would be, and I got a lot of positive feedback, so I just became a narrator from there.
Okay. What creepypasta do you want to narrate but are having trouble narrating?
Well, there's a creepypasta, and then there's another story that I want to narrate really badly. Laughing Jack I would love to do, but I feel like that was probably, in my opinion, Mr. Creepypasta's best reading ever. And I think it would be incredibly hard to do as good of a job as him, let alone better. So I don't really want to even try because I think I would just make myself feel bad. Because I mean that was absolutely fantastic, and actually my girlfriend and I think that was the first video I ever showed her of like a narration. We were kind of coloring, and I was like, "Hey, you got to listen to this story. Like it's so cool." I brought her over to my house, and yeah, we just got some coloring books, and we were coloring and talking and whatever, and it really hits home for me because it's such a great story, and it's got some memories behind it too because I met the girl of my dreams while listening. Well, found out she was the girl of my dreams while listening to uh, that story. Another one we listened to right after, she's like, "Oh my God, that was so scary," was A Pickpocket's Destiny. And I don't know if it's not a creepypasta. It's from the book The Tarot of Perfection. And
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Creepypasta did it, and that is probably my favorite story, like short story, ever written. It is absolutely fantastic. I have a fairy tale channel that I tried to start, and I did Snow White, and then never really did another one. But Katie's looking at me right now with her thumb down. She wants me to do them. I tried to read them as often as I can, but I don't know. My main focus is on my main channel, so probably get back around to doing it like once every month or so. Do a fairy tale. So one day maybe I'll do both of those, but for now I'm just too intimidated because you know. But yeah.
What creepypasta has made an impact on your life?
Oh, the two that I just mentioned because for the same reasons I guess. That and the 1999. That's what pretty much got me to start reading, and it's a great story. I mean, it has its moments, and at the end it kind of flakes off and isn't as good as the first part. But that's it happens to the best of storytellers. I mean, you read Stephen King stuff today as opposed to back from when he wrote The Stand, and there's not really what am I gonna say here? Not really a comparison, I guess. Some just get worse than others.
What creepypasta will you not narrate?
Anything absolutely terrible? I don't know. I probably will never read Jeff the Killer. I know it's extremely popular, but it's just the formatting in the words and the way things are said. It's just not my kind of story. I mean, I've listened to it, I've read it, and I guess some kids like it, but I guess that's just it. Some kids like it. So no, I won't be doing Jeff the Killer anytime soon.
Okay. And we're going to get into a little bit more personal questions.
All right.
What is the most dangerous thing you have ever done?
Oh, well, one time when I was a kid, I almost broke my neck pretty badly. There was a couple of friends were in my backyard, kind of hanging out, doing whatever. I used to live in, like I said, Caledon East, Ontario, and they were all over and whatever. And there was, I think I was 12 or 13 at the time, and a couple of girls were there. And you're at that age when you're trying to impress girls. And I'm like, hey guys, check this out. I can jump off my porch. Like, and it was a really high porch. I think it was about 9 feet tall, plus the banister. But I'm 12 years old. I'm invincible. So I decided to
Mm.
run off and jump off like the top of the railing and then like do one of those Dragon Ball Z rolls on the ground kind of deal. So I'm running and I go to jump and my foot slips and I like do this complete. All of a sudden, I guess my feet are in the air and my head is on the ground and I'm falling 9 feet to the ground. And I fall like I hear a crack in my neck and I get up and I think I broke my nose. I'm all bloody, but the girls are there, so I'm all I'm okay. I'm tough. It's all good. And then we went to the movie theater and I went to the movie theater with like the biggest headache of my life. And yeah, so I learned from that. I actually didn't break anything, thank God, because when I went home, I just pretty much cried myself to sleep and said to my parents, I need to go to the hospital and just get an X-ray. So they took me, and they're like, why didn't you tell us sooner? Blah blah blah. Like I
Mm.
had movie time with my friends, and I didn't want to look like a wuss. So yeah, that was pretty dangerous. But I mean, I put that as more dangerous. I've gone skydiving and I've flown a plane by myself, so that's pretty cool. And I don't feel that that's any more dangerous because you're more safe that way, I guess. So, but yeah, jumping off a porch, that's that's the most dangerous thing I've ever done.
Have you ever had a near death experience?
Yeah, it's an actually pretty interesting story. So if you notice on my channel, there's a gap in when I stopped doing narrations and then when I kind of picked back up as of recently. So last it was a year ago now. I uh, I decided I was going to quit the job at the pizzeria. I was getting my private pilot's license at the time, and it was extremely it's so expensive to get your commercial license. You need like 500 hours. It's ridiculous. It's $300 an hour. So working for tips, paid for about an hour every week if I was like really lucky. And I thought, no, this is stupid. I'm never going to have uh, enough money to actually get my license and make a job out of it unless I'm doing it every day until I'm 40. So I thought, hey, all the money out here is in Alberta or really out west. So I met this guy on the internet who works in Whitehorse, Yukon. So he said, oh, come down. We're gonna go do some stuff, do some gold mining, that kind of thing. There's lots of work. All you need is a truck and whatever, and come on down. Make sure that you can like your truck can get off road and this kind of thing, and it'll be fine. You're gonna find work instantly. Like guarantee you'll make 100 grand a year. So I was like, oh, well, that's cool. So I took my entire life savings. I was driving a Mazda Protege at the time, and I bought like a brand new truck. Not brand new, but like relatively new. And I started heading out west. Now it's about a 4,000 kilometer drive out from Ontario to Whitehorse. So I was driving, and I fell asleep in Sault Ste. Marie, and I woke up ready to head on another 1,000 kilometers before I slept again. And on the way there, I was pretty groggy. And my truck, I used to drive my old Mazda, and it never had cruise control. My truck had all these bells and whistles, so I was rocking out on cruise. I had it set to about 110 kilometers an hour, which is, I don't know in miles. Anyways, 110 kilometers an hour. And I had my feet back from the pedals. And as I'm driving around the bend in Wawa, Ontario, a friggin' moose comes out at me. And I swerve to avoid the moose, and I go off a rock face. And I flip my truck end to end, I don't know, somewhere between 10 and 30 times, I'd say. I don't even remember. I didn't even think the airbag went off. Like it was intense. So I'm rolling down this cliff, right? And I'm just thinking like, I'm not worried about myself because like I still for some reason think I'm invincible. So I'm rolling, I'm rolling, I'm rolling. I'm just thinking as if I just fucked up my truck. Uh, Eventually stop rolling, kind of come to and realize that I'm caved in on my roof, and I'm probably so far off the road that nobody can see me. So I'm upside down in my truck, bleeding from my neck pretty severely, and I had visited my aunt and uncle right before I headed out on this trip, and my uncle told me, you're gonna need this if you're going out in the boonies. So I'm gonna give you this. Bowie knife. It's like big old, Rambo style knife. He's like, but make sure you keep it under your seat because like the police don't like that here. But once you get out to the up north, like there's no problem. So I had it under my seat. So as I'm upside down, like I managed to grab it out from under my seat, cut my seatbelt off, and all my supplies because I was like moving. So everything I owned was like in the back of this, like the cab of the truck. So it's all over the place. I can't even see like daylight. I can barely. My window is so crunched down on my driver's side that I can just barely get out for air, like get my lips out for air. So I grab this knife and I'm hacking away at my passenger side because my cooler's there and there's egg salad sandwiches all over in my cuts and oh man, it was awful. So I'm cutting, I'm cutting, I'm cutting. I think I was in there for about an hour and a half until I finally got the cooler into pieces and kicked my way out of the window, crawled out through the glass. And first thing I do, I'm like, wow, that was fucked. So I go back and dig through my car and find my cigarettes and light one up, and I start walking up to the road with this Bowie knife in my fucking hand and blood pouring from my head, and I'm flagging people down, and I'm so out of it, I'm like in shock, right? Like, and I'm playing, and nobody's stopping, and I'm like, why the fuck is nobody stopping? Like, I'm seriously hurt. And I look down and I realize nobody, my truck's so far off the road, nobody can see my truck. Nobody knows I look like a murderer, so I throw my stuff away, throw my cigarette away, and finally a CN worker stops and calls an ambulance and whatever. And yeah, so I end up going to the hospital. I'm completely fine. Like I don't know how I walked away. Thank God I was wearing my seatbelt and had an airbag. But yeah, if I wasn't able to actually, if I didn't have that knife, I wouldn't have been able to break that cooler. And if I couldn't break that cooler, I probably would have died of starvation in my upside down truck, which is pretty unreal. So yeah, and then I get to the hospital and the cops are talking to me and whatever. And next days come around. I'm staying in Wawa for a couple days until I can get my friends, really good friends of mine, to come drive the 12 hours to come and get me from Kingston because I call my insurance company and they're not going to replace my truck and I need a truck to go there because I didn't actually hit the moose, so it wasn't comprehension, it was collision. And being 21 and owning a truck like that and having speeding tickets because I'm a reckless individual, it was going to be like $400 a month for insurance. So I was like, no way, I'm going to go safe auto route and not get any coverage whatsoever other than the bare minimum. So I didn't get my $10,000 truck replaced or anything like that. So I ended up moving back to Kingston, and then got back on my feet, got a new job and that kind of thing, and then kind of started narrating again. So yeah, but that's my near-death experience. It's about a year ago now. It was May 16th, 2013. So yeah, wild times. That's how I almost died.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, next question, which I doubt is going to be so interesting, but do you believe in the paranormal?
No, not interesting. Not interesting at all. Yes, I do believe in the paranormal, and like I said, as a kid, I've heard and seen a lot of things. Paranormal, as in ghosts, I've never seen, but I'll tell you right now, living up north in Canada, you can see a lot more in the night sky. And if you just like stare and kind of look night after night when you're camping or doing whatever, you can see some weird things that are unexplainable in the sky. Friends of mine, actually no, I guess I have seen something that was supernatural, like in the ghost sense as well. Me and my buddies were kind of sitting around back in my party days, so we were a little, had a couple beers and that kind of thing, and we're kind of leaning back on the couch, and all of a sudden, like this pop can just like slides across the table, and like we're all lying back, none of us were even remotely close to touching this pop can, and it was in when I lived in the apartment on was Union Street, so that was right where I live in a very old city in Kingston, and it was actually built on where the women prisoners would be transported back in the 1800s. So it's like reportedly lots of hauntings and that kind of thing here in Kingston. But yeah, I guess that building was built on part of the old prison grounds and stuff. My friend Chris, my roommate Chris at the time, he said that he used to like have friggin' dreams all the time of like this ghost or this apparition coming to him that was like dressed in like shackles as like an 1800s woman, that kind of thing. So there's definitely, and he's not the kind of guy who's going to be like, oh, I'm just going to make this up for shits and giggles, because he looks really scared and he's not going around telling anybody. He's just like, yo, man, like, this is really freaking me out. So I definitely believe there are things that we can't see or anything like that out there. So yeah, short answer, yes.
Um, who is your favorite author?
Stephen King for sure, but I've read most of his stuff. I try to get all like we've got a Value Village here, and I try to get all his work in hardcover. I will be honest with you, and for the last 6 months, I probably haven't even read a book, other than random stuff here and there, especially short stories. I read a lot of short stories online, of course, being a narrator and all, but I haven't actually picked up a book in quite some time. But yeah, I like King. King's the man. But like I said, I like his older stuff a lot better than his newer stuff.
Do you play video games? And if so, what platform do you prefer?
I am a huge Nintendo gamer. I don't own an Xbox or a PS3. I just like want to have fun. So I've got a bunch of 3DSs and girlfriend's got a Wii U, so we play that all the time. We're stoked about Mario Kart 8 coming out in a couple days. Like she's going woo woo yeah. Uh, we actually have like Mario Party get-togethers, so a bunch of our friends will come over and we'll have a few beers and play Mario Kart. But right now it's only Mario Kart 7 because like you can play on the 3DS up to 8 players, that kind of thing. So I love that. I'm really big into Pokemon. Actually, today my girlfriend and I just restarted our Diamond and Pearls, and we're doing those so we can like keep up with each other and kind of battle and that kind of thing, which is awesome. So yeah, Nintendo all the way. Go Pokemon. Go Zelda. Go Mario franchise. Woo!
And last question that I'm going to ask you is what is a fun fact about yourself?
Oh, fun fact about myself. This is one I don't know much about. Oh, I guess if you look at my channel, I just did a booster box opening. So, yeah, we collect Pokemon cards. I am 22 years old, and I collect Pokemon cards to this day, and proud of it too. So that's your fun fact. Love thems.
Okay. Well, this part of the interview is over, so before we move on to the next section, is there anything you would like to say?
No, thanks for the interview, Cabby. This was a great idea to interview us all. It's super fun. I'm all nervous. I don't know. Maybe I've loosened up a bit from the start, but I was like, I don't know. I'm live. This is weird.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go ahead and say this right now to get out of the way. All details for Maple will be in the description down below. I would also like to say that this next part Maple gave permission for, and I am not at all responsible for what happens.
Oh no.
Uh,
I feel like I should be worried.
um, you gave permission. So
Okay.
we're about to have somebody join us.
Boo!
Boo.
Okay, Master Creep Theater, you had some stuff you wanted to say to Maple and some questions you wanted to ask him.
Hi, Maple. How you been?
How's it going, JC?
If it was any better, I'd be illegal, sir. Now, I have here a compilation of questions from the community, and they're very much dying to know more about you, sir, you and your shoddy Canadian ways. So, go. From Anonymous, what do Canadians call Canadian bacon?
Back bacon.
Why does Canadian bacon exist?
Because it's the right bacon.
Was regular bacon not good enough for Canadians?
No, it's good enough. It's good enough. We still eat it, man. It's on our BLTs. Come on.
Have you ever shared a bunk bed with Smile Moose?
No, I don't believe so.
I think you'd remember something like that. Well, anyway, what's your favorite kind of syrup?
Oh, maple syrup. Got to be from a sugar shack though. You can't get it from the Aunt Jemima. She's a rip-off artist. I'm telling you. That's corn syrup. That ain't maple syrup.
Is so full of herself that she made herself the bottle. What a bitch. Anyway, moving on. Is it true every one of your countrymen ride mooses everywhere?
No, but there are some Mounties who do. Up north, there are some police officers that ride moose. Believe it or not.
That's kind of awesome. I'm not even going to make a joke about that. That's pretty awesome. If so, what make and model?
I don't know, man. The horn make.
Oh, well, got to go with the good old-fashioned Horn brand moose.
Yeah.
What do you think of Eggs Benedict?
I think they're weird. I
Okay.
mean, I like them, but the texture is just weird.
If the world ended tomorrow and it was all Canada's fault, would you still be glad to be Canadian?
Fuck yeah.
Awesome. All right.
Fucking rights, bud.
All right. This one comes from some deranged individual. Assuming that Chernobyl happened in Canada, would the Canadian government band together to annihilate the mutated moose population, or would they be gathered in a sort of Thunderdome-like death match?
Ooh, a tough one. I don't know. I think it'd be a little bit of both, man. We've got our rednecks here too, and they're all yee-haw. We've got Confederate flags here for some reason. There are Canadians who believe the South will rise again. So,
You guys don't have a... You have a South? Well, I guess...
no, your South will rise, and they'll hop the border and become one of them.
Oh, well, that...
Man, it happens, man. I'm telling you.
So the people from so up north that it's no longer in America think the South will rise.
You betcha.
Okay, I can't even make a joke for that. Let's just... Next question. How many fingers am I holding up?
11. You sick son of a bitch.
Oh, God damn it, you're good. Can we put the picture I drew you on the fridge for Mommy?
You bet we can.
Thank Dad.
She'd be proud.
Oh. From Cabot, Sheep Dick Corpse Guy.
No!
What?
I did not ask that.
She totally asked that.
I
That
did
is
not
all
ask that.
her.
Did not ask that.
To reiterate, Sheep Dick Guy Corpse. Excuse me, Guy Corpse, not Corpse Guy. My bad.
Did not ask that.
Alright. If you had to choose between playing Russian roulette with a Russian or listening to every Justin Bieber song ever written front to back, how
fuck,
long...
Let me just make one thing clear. Okay. All right. So you guys lost the Olympics against Canada. Therefore, you own Justin Bieber. That was the deal that our prime minister and your president made. So he's no longer a Canadian citizen. He's your fucking problem. And in that case, I would rather play Russian roulette with a Russian. I'd rather play Russian roulette with 5 bullets than a Russian, because the great Lord of Canada would not let us die.
Well, that's great, because the next part of that question was, how long would it take you to grab the gun?
Not very.
Okay. If you put one dimension bucket inside another dimension bucket, would it cause a singularity?
It may. It may. It could also create bucket matter, Scientists have been working on that for years, so maybe you're onto something there.
Maybe. We should talk to Mr. Bucket. Now, anyway, what is the airspeed velocity of an unleadened swallow?
America? I don't know. I forget the answer to that one.
Actually, the correct answer was Murica.
Murica, yes.
Murica. Close. What is the
That's
true...
the question you get stumped on.
What is the true backstory behind your bandana?
Well, like I said, I just wanted a cool bandana, man. I'm a bandit.
The true
You know what I mean?
backstory. We want the real story behind it.
All right. So this one time, I robbed a bank on motorcycle with a bandana, and nobody ever caught me. So, yeah, just pulled in there in the bank on my motorbike, and I was like, "Hey there, if you wouldn't mind, could you please fill up the bag with all your money? I don't want to hurt anybody, but I do need to pay my bills, and the man is calling for the cell phone bill." So they filled up the bag, and they said, "You have a nice day, sir. Thanks for being so great about it." And so I took off, and I've had the bandana ever since. Hell's yeah.
It's just been your lucky, polite bandana.
It's my polite bandana,
Oh, it is so nice to see a new brand of ruffian that is willing to bring a bit of civility to his illegal deeds. Anyway, from Anonymous, actual Anonymous this time, can I come out of your closet yet?
A couple more days there, Anonymous.
You heard him,
Couple
buddy.
more
Not my
days.
call. Yeah.
You're eating
This
dog food tonight.
this question comes from Madison of the narrating community. She asks, Maple, when are you going to dust under your bed? It's getting unkempt.
Oh, that's a good one. But I got carpet, so I think I'll have to vacuum. I guess I'll do it tomorrow.
Well, you heard him, Madison. You're sleeping one more day in the dirt. How did you survive the abyss?
The abyss. I was never in the abyss.
Are you sure?
Maybe the shit abyss, but
Mr. Leahy, not another night of the shit abyss.
yeah, exactly, Randy.
Okay, I got a whole new slew of questions. Who's your favorite trailer park boy?
Oh fuck, Ricky, hands down.
Bubbles.
Hands down. You like Bubbles, eh? He wasn't even supposed to be in the show, you know.
I know. He just came from a little one-shot thing they did called the what was it? The shopping cart boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know a lot about him, man. I'm a fanboy. Anyway, that was all the questions from the community.
I think if you look on the, I'll answer Nice Pasta's questions. He asked me a bunch on the comment section of this video. So if you look and you want to ask me them, then I'll answer.
JC, you want to take care of that?
Yeah, sure. Let's see. Just give me one moment. I have to get the link again. I closed out of it. So,
You fancy pants, you.
could you throw me the link one more time, Kevin? I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I got it. No, I don't.
You do or you don't?
I do not. I do not. Opposite of do, I do not.
You know it's in the placenta group, right?
I do now. Thank you very much.
The placenta group.
You got it now?
Yes. Yes, I do.
Okay.
All right. So, from Nice Pasta, all of these.
He's a cool dude.
Oh. Do you have any favorite anime?
I wasn't really into anime a whole lot. Of course, Pokemon, that kind of thing. But my girlfriend Katie got me started on Full Metal Alchemist, and it is definitely my favorite one. Definitely. Full Metal Alchemist all the way.
Respectable. I would have to go with, well, who cares? It's not my interview. Moving on. How did you meet your lawfully wedded girlfriend, wife, Katie? Any love stories for the press?
Well, we met at work when I was doing the supervisor thing at the toy store. She came in as a seasonal position, and then, I don't know, I guess it was just kind of love at first sight, I'd say. Got her over to my house, kind of hung out. Like I said, we were listening, our first time ever hanging out outside of work was listening to Laughing Jack and A Pickpocket's Destiny and coloring in coloring books like children. And we started playing Pokemon together and all this cool stuff, and the rest is history.
That's unbelievably romantic.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. I got fired over that job because of her. She got fired. Well, she quit, and then my boss was so mad at me, and she never treated me the same after. And then I ended up telling her off because she didn't do any work. Oh wait, this is live shit. And then I got fired. But yeah, so that was that was the story of the toy store.
There you have it.
Yep.
You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. You really break the mold with your part in the upcoming film True Horror Stories. How did you go about breaking this mold? Hammer, chainsaw, Choctaw arrowhead, etc.
Nice Past already knows the answer to this. With my machete. Shit, it's in my persona.
Do you like Silent Hill?
I do, but like I said, I don't have any other video game systems other than Nintendo. So I've only played like the original PlayStation ones. But yeah, I like it so far.
Do you edit your recordings, or are they done in one go?
Oh shit. No way I can do those in one go. I am probably the worst narrator and just pretty good at editing. Because honestly, man, half-hour story takes me about an hour and a half. My girlfriend's got a gun to her head, shooting her head right now because with her fingers, because she knows just how bad it is. I'll record for like an hour and a half, and then I'll say sentences like 10 different times, and then go through every sentence. It ends up taking me another 2 hours on top of that to edit.
if I could say so, Maple and I recently collabed together with working at Disney, was it?
Yeah, working at Disney.
You weren't bad. You weren't bad at all. I don't think you give yourself enough credit as a narrator.
Oh, it's just a good editing software, man. Good splicing, making sure you get all those pops out. But no, yeah, that was what my part was about 15 minutes. It probably had about 45 minutes of recording. So I'd say a good like third of whatever I record actually makes it to the final cut.
Well, it's very efficient. At least you're trying to make sure it's good.
Oh yeah, like the way I see it, I wouldn't want to listen to something that like isn't like somebody puts their hard work into, right? Like if you're just gonna sit there and record something really quick and let your mistakes go. Like I understand mistakes happen all the time. I mean they're in my videos all the time, but you know at least I do try. So that's the thing. And I can tell with the other narrators. There's a lot of narrators that I recently followed. Like at first, like 2 years ago, I guess, and a year and a half up until when I first started narrating, I was strictly CPJ, Mr. Creepypasta, and MapleCreepyPasta. Yeah, like I never listened to anyone, but now it's just playlists of all sorts of people. Because I find more and more these days, a lot of people are really trying, you know, and they're damn good. You included there, JC.
Oh well, thank you very much. Well, for thanks. Your style is very unique, calming, and interesting. How did you decide to narrate in this way, or was it natural?
It was definitely just natural. That's I don't know if you can tell, but that's just how I talk in real life. And oh, I guess I never really touched on this in the interview, but when I was a kid, man, I would love like camping and going like to campfires and that kind of thing. And I would always just tell these ghost stories, you know, scary stories to tell in the dark. I used to like carry that around with me when I was a kid, just to like go there and tell people these ghost stories, and I'd make them up on my own. And you know, when you're 10, 11, 12, like Boy Scouts or whatever, you can scare the pants off of people. And I think that's why I really liked Creepypasta, because it brought back that nostalgia for me of, you know, just telling stories. And then I think that's why I enjoy doing it.
That's a very good answer. I was actually very interested to hear that. It's kind of a change since I didn't care about anything else you had to say.
Thanks, JC.
No problem. Oh, I was joking.
Sure you were.
What is your greatest influence for doing creepypasta narrations?
Well, a lot of people would probably say that it's the other narrators out there, but it's actually not. My greatest influence is if I could actually do anything with this voice acting, I would love to go into like radio and that kind of thing, but not radio in particular. One channel I listen to frequently is Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie and Art Bell. Those guys are master storytellers, master interviewers. They're just amazing, you know. So I think they're my greatest influence on just narrating in general, because I don't know if anybody's never heard of them. They do the craziest things, from, you know, conspiracy theories to UFOs, like all the wildest things, and they have callers on, and they just handle them so well. And yeah, so before I actually found Creepypasta and Mr. Creepypasta and all the people that I started listening to those years ago, I would sit at home and wait until the middle of the night until Coast to Coast AM came on and just listen to that all the time. So I kind of just transfer. I don't listen to them nearly as much because, you know, I actually like the Creepypastas a little better, but there are times that I'll just throw on a 2-hour segment of Coast to Coast and listen to it from start to finish. So yeah.
Okay. Let's see. What else? Just give me 1 second. I apologize. One last question. Actually, let me refresh the page and make sure no one's left anymore. From Hayden Wilkes. Hi, Hayden. Why do you like creepypastas?
Well, they're cool, man. Shit.
Well, I gotta agree with that.
Yeah, I like creepypastas, man. They're pretty awesome. They're unique in the sense. Actually, I had this girlfriend like a year ago, and she is stupid. I think the reason we ended up breaking up was because of creepypasta. She's like, I've heard one, I've heard them all, and I'm like, no, you haven't, girl. Like that's not even how it is. You can't hear one and hear them all. She's like, they all sound the same. They're all stupid. These people need to get a job. And I'm like, no, you need to get a job. So yeah, that it all went downhill from there. I like creepypastas. That's about it.
All right. Well, there you have it. Well, Cabot, that's about it from me and the community. Back to you in the studio.
Thank you.
Oh, that JC guy. That wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Back to my chopper.
Get on that chopper.
Well, that's actually about it. Well, one last thing. You're Canadian. You have to say it. Just once.
What are you talking about, eh?
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
So, thank you, everybody, for joining us, and everybody say bye. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Thanks for listening. Have a beautiful time.
Have a beautiful time.